I'll say to really start preparing yourself for the love that you want, know how you want to be loved. And in order to know how you want to be loved, you have to love yourself first. And this means freedom, self-awareness, expression. And this to me means you can be more than one thing. I'm Jasmine Bowdry, and you're listening to And This Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of And This. I'm your host, Jasmine Bowdry, and today we're going to steer a little bit away from business and talk about love and dating and all of that good stuff. So for me, dating has definitely not been as easy as I thought it would be. I thought that I would be at a point in my life where I would have already been married, maybe already have had a child or two. And, that part of my life still, unfortunately, actually, I won't even say unfortunately, that part of my life just still hasn't happened yet. And so as I'm navigating, being a mature woman, who has had amazing success professionally and in business, but yet still just haven't been able to unlock, that true partner, that true love, that person that you're going to do life with. I'm not going to lie, it has been hard sometimes. And I am a God-fearing woman. I am a woman that believes in God, that has faith. And so I know that it will come, but the wait, like, hey, Lord, we got some things called the biological clock. And so the wait is what can be hard. And so I just want to kind of just, talk. Can I just talk to y'all? Can we just chill and, not talk about business and all that kind of stuff, but, just kind of share a little bit of my personal journey. As of today, I have been single. This is probably going on year 10. Hell, it might be year 11 of single, of not exclusively being in a relationship. And obviously, I've dated, I'm dating, have dated, but those are not, that's not an exclusive relationship. That is not, a commitment. And I am one that dates with intention. I like to align myself with those that, hope to be looking for the same, things, that eventually want, marriage, a family, all of that. And I find the older I get, the more difficult it has become. And I don't think, I'm sure there are people out there that say, oh, you're older, men want somebody that, 21 and you're not desirable. I don't believe any of that, honey, because I know. I know I'm a good thing. I know I look good. I know that I would be an amazing wife, mother, and value add to any partner that I, choose to be with. And so I don't even believe any of that mess. However, I will say that it's difficult to date when you are older because you know yourself so well. My boundaries are so in place. I know what I want. I know what I do not want. And at this stage, you just don't waste your time. When I was 20, maybe I would probably, and I'm sure I did, waste time, with guys who, let's just be friends, blah, 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 blah. But no, I know what I want. I know how I want to be treated. I know how I want to feel. And I think that is something that we miss in relationships, especially women. It's yeah, it's cool to say, oh, I got a man, my man, but is your man making you feel good? How do you feel when you're with that man? Is he affirming you? Is he being intentional with how he communicates with you? Is he putting in consistent effort? Does he bring you joy? Do you guys laugh? Those are feelings. And those are things that I want to feel. And if I don't feel those things, then I am not going to move forward in any type of relationship. And so I think, again, just as you get older, you just have been through life. There are some things you've just been through life, and that gives you wisdom. And so you are able to understand what certain situations look like, what doesn't feel good. You also learn how to pay attention to your intuition. As women, again, going back to feelings, we feel when something is off. Our body literally tells us. And so when I'm dating, I pay attention to, I don't look for butterflies. I look for, like, does my stomach feel uneasy? Do I get any types of, aches or pains or just uneasy feelings? Am I nauseated? Like, any type of thing that comes up, you need to pay attention to what your body is telling you. And those are things that I have learned to pay attention to, because in the past, I've ignored them and then ended up hurt or ended up in situationships that extended way longer than they needed to, because now I ignored the intuition. I ignored the feeling that I felt, but yet I now have fallen for this person. So it's harder to let them go. And so there were times throughout my journey, again, as being a corporate professional, as being an entrepreneur in all these different spaces, that I've had the pleasure of, all these different spaces that I've operated in, I've been able to look back and say, there were times where I didn't make space for love. There were times where I prioritized, I'm in a zone right now. I'm growing my business right now. I don't have time to date. I don't have time for a man. And so in those lessons, you start to think, well, if this is something that I say that I truly want, right? And you have to be real with yourself, because you may be someone that's listening or watching and decide, I'm fine with the single life. Good for you. But I know that's not me. And so I really had to sit back and ask myself, but are you making space? Are you actually making time to prioritize this in your life? And that answer was no. Because if you working all day, like literally I'm waking up working on my business, I am going to sleep late because I'm working on my business, I'm traveling for my business, like I'm doing all these things for my business, where does somebody else fit into that picture? Additionally, your girl is a homebody. He not gonna find me on the couch. There was this one time where this guy was kind of going around the neighborhood asking people to sign like a petition, and he was kind of cute. So I was like, see, Lord, you might actually drop somebody at the door. It wasn't, he was married, so that ain't work. But I'm saying, you do have to leave the house, right? You have to leave. And me being a homebody, I also have realized that, like, girl, well, you are introverted. You like I love my home. I like being at home. I love my space. I love just sitting in silence. My friends will tell you, like, girl, you don't got no music playing here. No, she was just going to sit with the birds chirping. And so I have also realized that, like, you have to put yourself in situations where men can actually meet you and approach you to give them an opportunity, to take you out on dates. So those are some things that I have realized that I have actually changed. And of course, there's the dating apps. That might need to be another episode, y'all, because dating apps just can get really ghetto really fast. And I've had some experiences on the apps. But again, it's just me trying different things, trying new things to allow myself to bring love in, to allow myself the space to have someone else, come in that I can, be a partner with and create this love life with.
Are you a product-based business owner that's ready to scale? I've compiled my industry experience and knowledge into bite-sized resources that you can access anytime, anywhere at jasmineboundary.shop. You'll get actionable insight, advanced strategies, and in-depth knowledge on how to grow your product-based business. Visit jasmineboundary.shop today, and let's take your brand to the next level. Now, back to the episode.
Something else that I've realized, and this probably will shock a lot of women, because I think as women, we can often say he's the problem, right? We can say, oh, guys aren't this, guys aren't that, or there are no guys, or, yes, data shows that there are, more males, or that there are more females than there are, males. And so the ratio isn't really a level playing field. But I can say as women, sometimes we don't hold ourselves accountable to our actions and how we handle things in relationships. I know I have fumbled some good guys. I can say that with 100% pure confidence that I fumbled some guys. And I fumbled them because of past hurts and trauma that wasn't healed, that I wasn't even aware of was a trauma. But I just know, like, I used to be like, I'm going to cuss you out type. What, you ain't pick up your phone? Blah, blah, blah. Like, borderline certifiable. Now, I've never been one that's like fighting a guy or, abusing or anything like that. But if I was hurt, you were going to feel hurt too. And so I'm going to use my words to say whatever I could to hurt your feelings. And that came from a place of rejection and abandonment that I felt growing up. I used to get teased a lot when I was younger. I had really, really bad acne. I had sizable gap in my teeth. Then I had braces. I had glasses. I just was not confident in myself at all. And guys used to make fun of me. I literally recall a little boy calling me Rocky Mountain because of all the acne on my face. And so I didn't grow up with the best self-esteem. And so all that rejection, that I felt throughout my childhood, and going, into being a teenager, I just used to keep that all in. And then when I would get into a relationship and something triggered me, then I would just snap and just go off. And it wasn't until I got into therapy that I really started to uncover, where is some of this coming from? Why haven't I been successful in relationships? Now, yes, I have had some trash ex-boyfriends that, didn't deserve me. However, like I said, there have been guys that I can admit that I fumbled that were amazing men. And I fumbled them because I didn't know how to handle them. I was so used to toxicity. I was so used to being treated badly that if you were nice, it's like, oh, you corny. You're not. Why are you so nice? Why are you so nice to me? What? You trying to spend time with me? What? It's like all of these things. It's so crazy because it's all of these things that I desire now in relationships that you don't think about when you've been so used and accustomed to toxic relationships, that you self-sabotage and you don't really appreciate what could have been a potential partner because you aren't healed and you haven't dealt with those trauma wounds. And so therapy has helped me tremendously with, one, getting to the root cause of some things that have caused turbulence in relationships. Two, it's helped for me to love myself more, right? Because if you don't love yourself, then you absolutely can't love anyone else correctly. So loving myself more, being self-aware. So I am highly aware of triggers. I am highly aware of how things make me feel. But the difference between old Jasmine, and I'm going to tell y'all my nickname from back in the day is Spaz. So that tells you how I used to be going off. That my nickname was, oh, that's Spaz. I mean, she gonna spaz out. And so from going to Spaz to Jazz, right, the woman that I am now, and realizing what those emotions are, but being able to identify them and stop them in their tracks. So if I do feel a type of way, with just different guys that I'm dating, oh, this guy hasn't called me back. Old Jazz would have been like, it's because he's with another girl. He's not calling you, or he's not interested in you. It's like all of these thoughts. He's not interested. He doesn't like you. He's with somebody else, right? All of these negative thoughts. And so previously, it would have been a reaction. It would have been, oh, so you can't call nobody back? Oh, you didn't see that I just text you? Oh, so you ignoring me? Oh, you would have, right? All of these crazy, what they'll call it, crazy thoughts. Versus now, it's, okay, I called. He wasn't available to speak. He'll call me when he gets the opportunity. Perhaps he's working. Perhaps he's busy. Perhaps he might be on another date. Those are all fine, right? Like I don't allow myself to go down an entire rabbit hole and create entire scenarios of what could be a situation. You get what I'm saying? Like we often, especially women, it's facts versus feelings, right? And we tend to lean more into the feelings. So this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, he's doing this and this and this and this. But what are the actual facts? The facts are you may have spoken to him the day before. You may have texted earlier in the day. And he just ain't called you back. Like those are the actual facts at this point until you actually speak. And then he calls like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm sorry I missed your call. I was at the car wash. Sorry, I missed your call. I was at lunch. I was at dinner, whatever the case may be, right? That's the actual fact. And so sometimes we just tend to jump to conclusions and make up these entire scenarios in our head. And so I've had to ask myself, is this a fact or is this a feeling? And then I answer that question and then move accordingly. But again, I allow myself to identify the emotion, to identify the trigger, but then hold off on a response because we tend to be very reactive. And we react on that emotion. Now, sometimes have I on this journey still, reacted in some scenarios? Absolutely. But what I'm able to catch or what I'm able to do is catch myself and say, Jasmine, you could have handled that differently. And then I'm able to, like, I haven't popped off on nobody, y'all, but I'm still able to take accountability. Like, hey, our last conversation, it didn't feel really good. It felt a little icky to me. That's not, I was reacting emotionally, but here's what I actually was trying to say, or here's what I actually was trying to get across. I also think that as you're in a season of singleness, that you enjoy it, that you maximize your single seasons. Like I take myself on dates. I get pretty, I get dressed up, I smell good for myself. I take myself to the best restaurants. I treat myself to the best experiences. And so I think that sometimes, while yes, being single can suck sometimes, I also think that you have to think about it differently. And how can you go about maximizing it? How am I spending my money? How am I saving? How am I planning for a future with someone else? How am I planning for potential children? Like, how am I actually really maximizing this time? I buy myself flowers. I take myself on trips. First class, 5-star. And so I am going to treat myself to the best love that I can give myself before I expect somebody else to come in and do that for me. So I'll say to really start preparing yourself for the love that you want, know how you want to be loved. And in order to know how you want to be loved, you have to love yourself first. My first and forever love is God first. His love will always be sufficient for me. And so knowing and understanding that and operating in that, treating myself with the best love that I can treat it, treating myself the best, my health, my body, my mind, feeding positivity, going to therapy, mental wellness, exercising, eating good foods, like giving yourself all of the love that you can give it, I think is one of the best ways that you can prepare for a healthy relationship. Also, knowing your boundaries, knowing what you want. Like my checklist of he has to be 6'2", 6-pack, all of those things, are little, like, I don't think of things like that anymore. It's more so, is he intentional? Is he consistent? What is his fruit? What is he doing? How is he maximizing his single season? Does he have control over his man parts, or is he just outside in the streets? How does he conduct himself? Can he move in a room with professionals and also take me to the hood chicken spot? Like, where's the balance? So I think those are all different things that, you know, you need to think about and ask yourself as you're preparing for the love that you want. So I know this was a little bit of a different episode, but it was a real one. It was from the heart. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next episode of And This.